break. Out on the street chasing wrong from right. Eyes like fire burning through the haze. Truth is a weapon, cuts through the maze. Some call her trouble, some call her brave. Digging up secrets they tried to save. A real deal around town. She's breaking it down. Spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her cry. Shadows, they curse her name. Afraid of the spotlight she brings to the game. But the grateful ones, they cheer in the dark for the spark she ignites in their weary hearts. Some call her danger, some call her hope. She's the thin line on the tightrope. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The truth's her crown, yeah.
Well, hi everybody, we're back for another round of Townsend board meetings go crazy. Or gone wild. What were those videos years ago? I don't want to go there. Those are terrible. But anyway, we are back. Oh, I got to get things set back up here. I unplugged everything. Where's that supposed to go? There it is. Okay. So the Finance Committee, better known as the FinCom, is going to be starting their meeting in 11 minutes, according to my clock. So we do have activity in the Zoom room. We have Don Hayes is in there. I'm going to bring him up. Well, of course, I'm not ready to do that. I have to get my music out of there. Oh, let's see, where are we? Here we are. How about that? Oh, you still don't see it. Okay. How's that? There's Don. He's getting paperwork together. He's got a Santa Claus tie. He's all into the spirit, I guess. So we're here waiting on the rest of the gang to get in there and see what they're going to talk about. Confusing to me. I went over their agenda earlier, and I'm not excited. The last time they had a meeting, I think I called it a bitch session. And I think that's what it is again. They're going to sit there and complain about everything on the agenda. There's no productive item on their agenda. Nothing. They're just, I'm being, I'm getting more and more pessimistic. But that's what it is. I'd like them to put some thoughts together and see what kind of direction they can advise the town to go in looking at our financial situation and do some evaluation and analysis of what it is. And I want to see some breakdowns. I gave them different ratios that they need to be putting together. And I don't think anybody's looked at the documents that I've sent them. Of course, why should they? Why should they? I can't read that tiny. Oh, they're connecting to audio and they can't hear me yet. That's nice. That's good. Because I'm muted on there anyway. Hopefully they figure out how to connect to audio. That would suck if they never do. Sometimes some of these people get confused. These guys do eventually figure it out. I don't know. Some of the boards don't. So, yeah, I'd like them to do some analysis of the town stuff, and they're not a fan. They just want to complain and talk about what's on the budget and complain about it. So we're going for another round of bitch session. The finance committee complains about everybody else. And in my spare time, I'll do analysis for things that I'm interested in, but I don't have a whole committee to do the work for me. It's all me. And I got other things to do in my life. They've smartened up and they're muted. I don't have to interrupt them and tell them that I'm live streaming every word they say. So, I may do another video tomorrow. I haven't decided. And tonight we're going to miss the Groton Conservation's meeting where they're going to be talking about the RDA that is for Gary Shepherd's work in that town. That's supposed to be tonight, their meeting, and they have that scheduled for 7:05. When this is over, when the pain is over from this meeting, I'm going to go over to the Groton channel and see if they're live, if they've recorded it. No, I'm not. I'm going to do that tomorrow because they'll still be live streaming and I won't be able to rewind. So I'll check that out. The last meeting they had was less than exciting. We sat through the whole meeting and there wasn't much to report. So tonight should be better with Groton, but I'm not. I'm really not. This is better for now to do the Townsend FinCom, and then tomorrow I'll take a peek and we can just stream. I'll just stream the part that has to do with Gary. I don't need to go over everything that's happening in Groton. Although I think it is interesting to do other towns other than this one, because this is same shit, different day. At least we get to break it up a little bit when I go to a different town. And I will say my real excitement for YouTube today was learning that Kelsey Fitzsimmons was released from jail and she's going to be able to spend Christmas with her family. I believe she is still restricted Well, she is on house arrest, and they made that clear to her today. And she can't leave her house, so Christmas is at her house. Although I think her mom's probably going to do all the cooking. Maybe her dad will help. Oh, she has a sister too that I think can be there. She cannot see her daughter, her child. I think it's a girl. No, I can't remember. Oh my God, she can't see her child, and uh, and that's because it's all caught up in custody issues. Because her case is pretty bizarre. Um, yeah. So we'll see how that goes for her. We probably won't hear much about it. We won't hear anything more about her case this weekend until after the holiday. So I'm hoping they're going to unmute at some point. Oh my goodness. So it's snowing out there in Townsend. It's sticking on the ground. I don't know how much we have out there. We're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches. I think I haven't really checked. Let me check. Since we're waiting, oh, sleet for the next hour. Don't drive anywhere. Yeah, because the temperature's right there, and the freezing, not freezing. Very dangerous out there. It's going to be like that all night. So, or until midnight. It's supposed to just stop snowing at midnight. That's what it looks like. Just till midnight. But right now it's all sleet, and there's probably some snow mixed in. Channel 4. Channel 4 it is. I'm looking at, yeah, I'm not getting anywhere. Let's see. I'm looking at whatever my iPhone tells me. The weather app that comes with the phone. I don't know. So, according to 1 inch, we're pretty close to that now. Let's see. I got 2 minutes before they're supposed to start here. Let's see. I don't see any narrative on here. Let me see what 1 degree outside says. It's raining in air. Yeah. The last time I actually looked outside, it was snow, which was just a couple minutes ago. And then, of course, this is telling me I got to look outside. I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, there's white stuff coming down, but I think it's a mixture of snow and sleet. I think we're right on that line. Snow and sleet. I do believe them. I believe my phone, who said sleet. I believe it.
Could you unmute your audio, please?
Here we go. They haven't unmuted their audio. I think they're starting the meeting. Completely in the dark.
This meeting is being recorded.
But there's nothing to record.
Don, could you unmute the audio and the computer there, please? Thank you.
They're not doing it. We're just gonna have video. Apparently. Oh, this is not a good time.
Here we go. Okay, TGM, is that better? Can you hear us in the room?
Hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
How long are we gonna wait?
I maybe just another minute.
Well, because then it adds to the going home.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's not gonna get any worse.
How do you know?
To freeze,
Well,
it'll
man.
it could freeze.
It gets freezing.
I'm more concerned about icy roads than snowy roads.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
wet and snowy, and I saw the weather, it's 33, 34, 32, 33, 34, things like that. all
but
the
you're
way
not a
through the
girl
night.
driver.
Yeah,
And what does that have to do with it?
I know exactly.
I have nothing but,
Admit to that. Well, you know what? I'm right there with Mary Jane when it comes to being a girl driver. Yep, I know what you mean.
I know exactly what she means, but that's no excuse. Because you didn't learn how to drive, that's not,
No, it's
that
how
has
others,
nothing to do with
Here
the
she
fact of being a
comes.
girl.
it's how others drive.
She's coming.
And if you wanna be sure.
I know all about that.
Yeah. it's kinda like
But I'm the biggest car on the road.
Okay.
Don't say that's the difference. We don't drive the big.
Hi, dear.
It's not a pickup, it's just a Honda Pilot.
Yeah, still a big.
Oh,
How are you?
How are you?
Excellent.
You look so serious. What do we have? Something that
Wait.
happened while I was gone?
Nope, we're serious about trying to get through the agenda and do the business. And,
Come on.
keep everybody safe and get back on the road before.
Or just in dinner.
late
Seriously.
yeah, it was getting a little.
Yeah, so it's
I
great.
think I was behind a, I don't know, salt sand truck.
Oh,
Okay, so we are all here, so I will call a meeting to order for the Townsend Finance Committee,
Mhm.
6:04 PM. Roll call, attendance, please.
Carol Hoffs is present.
Jerome Bazik's present,
David Walker present.
Kathleen Spofford present.
Mary Jane Churchill present.
Sam Grant present.
Don Hayes present. All 7 members are present. We've called to order, we have a quorum, we are good to continue. This meeting is being recorded. It will be available for playback on local channels, on cable, and it's available on the YouTube channel. At this point, is there anybody else recording the meeting?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and that would be Cindy King. I don't see anybody else online. Thank you, just so we're aware and follow the rules. Additions or deletions, none known at this, I have nothing to add or delete at this point. Moving into the work session, reviewing the minutes, we had, I did not put the details in here, we have 4 minutes to review, from the meetings of November 12th, November 19th, December 3rd, and December 8th.
We're gonna do them all at once or?
We
individual?
can do if there's no changes and you want to make a motion to accept, the minutes for all 4 meetings as they are.
I will make a motion to accept the minutes of all 4 meetings as they are.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Good to me.
Okay, since we are all here, we can do a voice vote. All in favor of, submitting the meeting minutes as is?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All opposed? I did. None? Passes unanimously. And Carol, if you would, forward them to
The town
town
clerk.
clerk, and they'll get updated. If you haven't been to the website for the finance committee, when the agendas are posted, they go to the minutes section on the website. And when they get the minutes, they will be posted beside them, so you can see the agendas and the minutes all on the same
Okay.
page. So just, we haven't discussed sometimes a lot of the details of what the website looks like and things like that. It's not in the finance committee. Maybe we'll add a link to our minutes directly. That could be something good. But there is a minutes directory, and every committee is under there, and then you expand them out and you see all of the meeting agendas and the minutes for each committee in there. So they are available, and they will be public record at that point and recorded by the clerk. Okay, kind of long, but again, just something that I wanted to touch on because not everybody maybe knows where it is. And okay, moving on to item 2, the review the budget software for ClearGov and come up with our recommendations to the select board at this time. We had discussion about it, but we didn't vote on it, so I thought this would be a time to review what we had discussed, document it, and forward to select board and town administrator.
What did we forward to them?
We haven't forwarded anything yet, but we talked about the ClearGov software. Some of the highlights that I recall were the initial $10,000 to get it set up for a trial, plus about $20,000 a year, was expensive, and we didn't really have from there a problem solution. What is the software really trying to? What's the problem the software is trying to resolve? So we're spending $20,000 a year, and we haven't necessarily defined what it was. And it's only one product. There are multiple products. So that was the cost. Seemed high for to add $20,000 a year to the budget. And where do we come up with that money?
Well,
And I think the other concern was who's inputting the data,
Mm-hmm.
and is that an additional cost?
And which data?
and then, but how about, okay, so
Yeah.
who scheduled that sales pitch with ClearGov?
I'd say it was town administrator.
So can the town administrator schedule 2 more so we can get at least 2 more
Compare
comparisons to see who's,
That's what
out
our
there?
recommendation is that's one of the recommendations we would like to put in there is this is one product. We saw a demonstration of not Townsend data, just some of the user interface stuff. So
What are we using now?
we actually don't use anybody's budgeting software. We're using Excel to put together the
Yeah.
worksheets
And
and the
paper.
omnibus budget.
Innovate.
In the past, we had the Collins files
Mhm.
there that you could take the data, add it into the Collins file, and you could see the 5-year in the past and use that going forward too. But the Collins file hasn't been used.
does DLS have form?
DLS has data, but we'd have to take a look at what it is. They have historical data that we supply to them, and they put it in, and you do have the ability to look, but it's not budgeting software. The budgeting Excel file they have is only pretty much what we saw in the select board meeting that was demonstrated, where you put in a percentage and you can see what the budget is. Nelson had put that together. and showed the next 5 years and what the gap would be using, he had, I think, 3% increases in there.
I think it's a good idea to have budgeting software, especially if you can advance it forward for 5 years, so you do a 5-year plan. And I do agree with that. I think right now, for this year, it's too late.
Right.
We're not gonna get anything from it this year.
Right.
But I think now is the time to explore it for next year. So maybe it wouldn't be in 26 budget, but going forward in 27, but we should explore more than one.
Right.
Yeah, because you said there was another company that we use in other departments,
Vadar.
right?
Yeah, the software that we use to do the business of the town.
Right, I think we want to see what they have and what their option is, since we're already using them.
Right, and again, if there's any plans, maybe that we're moving away from that, I don't, we're not in the, we're not within the, you know, the business of the town, but we can ask those questions. Are you planning to stick with Vadar? Do you want to move to something else, another product? You know, so it's kind of, so if you're staying with Vadar, why not, you know, as you talked about, when you start using multiple licenses for a product, usually you start getting the discount bundle.
Right.
Have we talked to them at all?
I don't know. It's kind of like we've only had the ClearGov, so I need to get that and see if there's others already in discussion that they're going to bring in and demonstrate.
So who exactly is using that here now?
The Vadar, treasurer collector use it.
Okay.
Accounting uses it.
So we should probably make contact with them and see if they like it or not.
Get their opinion of it.
Exactly. I mean, if they're the ones who were.
Well, I can ask them.
They're using it.
Next, because I'll be in next week and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can talk to
Right,
them and
yeah.
ask them. I have another question. So whose purview is this under? The Board of Selectmen? We just make a recommendation? It's not like we can go out and purchase it, right?
Right, yeah, yeah. No, it's not. It's kind of like, but we're the first interface, and the idea with this software is that the data is universal, and anybody can log in and see the data.
Now,
It's
would
kind of like,
this-
see the reports.
would this also produce budget sheets for each department for them to use? So that they would
They-
actually be putting in their numbers?
Their own data.
They would go into the interface and put their data in, so that instead of being a worksheet that they fill out and move, you enter the data directly into the databases through their user interface. So a department would see the historical information and say, this is what I want to put going forward.
And then we'd
into
be
this
able
field.
to see.
And then
that.
we would be able to see it.
Okay,
So-
all right, yeah, so
And-
this year, I mean, the budgets are due in next week sometime.
Right, so there's no, there's
Or the
no
week after.
time to do
Yeah.
it, so it's kind of like, so it gets down to,
And I think that's what happened before when we had it.
it,
It was too late.
There
It
was-
was too late, we never used, the departments never.
the departments never used it, the data was never validated. There was no tie to say, yes, this looks like Townsend's data that we would produce and want to see. And because also with it, you can use that to produce the files that you submit into town meeting.
Oh, okay.
You know, so the idea
It
is,
is very useful. Okay.
the,
So when would we talk to, when would we make this decision? I mean, when will we be able to get more information with the budget happening?
with the budgets happening, as Kathy said, I think we have to go through with the Excel spreadsheets this year.
No, I get that, yeah, but
So we'll continue that, but moving forward, we'll ask for additional vendors to come in and show us the demos, look for pricing and see if there's a clear winner.
are you gonna?
When you only look at one and you have a choice of one, it's hard to say,
It's not a
I've got the
choice.
best. It's not a
I
choice.
wasn't,
Yeah.
I wasn't,
This or nothing.
Right,
it's been too many years since I played with that Gov thingy, but
Mhm.
I was not pleased with it when I was playing with it the last time around. It just, I think it's kind of simple. Basically speaking, we're looking for a whole bunch of different types of reports, but they're all kind of simple. this
Right.
report we've gotten from,
Yeah.
that you've handed out, I don't know what you call it, that is very condensed and, keeps us to track of what's happening. That's easy to pull out. I don't see why Excel can't be massaged in such a way to do all of that. Especially if each department has access to this particular spreadsheet that has the past several years, the present, and put in what you want for the future. Does that add up down here at the bottom to equal if we're having level funding?
Well, I think our first step should be see if the girls like what they're using
Yeah.
now or not. I mean,
Yeah.
That would have to start someplace, so why not come right out and ask them, what do you think of it? And then
that's, yeah,
explore what else is out there.
that's
But I don't
more-
think we should just go with the one just because it was presented.
Right.
We definitely want to see more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Other.
Yeah. You're right, we should ask.
And I guess,
ones
so
that are
it
using
seems like,
Yeah,
so I will make a motion that our recommendation to the select board is to review it, is to get
Several.
presentations on at least two more packages,
Yeah.
presentations and quotes on at least two more packages.
second.
Do you think that, I wonder if the girls that, are using whatever they're using now, if they would have any recommendations, have they seen other packages?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what Vicky uses in, Dunstable, if it's Vadar or not.
Right,
Oh, yeah, I
Because
hadn't
she
thought
might
about going to
use-
other towns.
Yeah,
yeah.
See what they,
yeah,
See,
They
they're
use-
using
Well, I'd
Dunstable and Groton, Pepperell.
Pepperell, yeah.
recommend altering the word to several.
Oh. To several.
I mean, just to
Amendment.
give us a chance to, what about, like Dunstable says,
Sure.
this one's working for us. You've
Yeah,
got
that's
this
fine. That's fine.
internal one, and then maybe there's another one. So the word several covers more than two.
Yeah.
Without going to have a dozen.
That's fine, I have no problem with that.
okay, so the motion is being amended.
Do we need a second to his motion?
I'll second the amendment, the
Okay.
motion to amend.
And the answer is yes, please. Baldwin? Okay. And I didn't stick with it, so could you read the amended motion?
Okay, well, if I get it right.
Okay. But that's what we wanna do.
Okay, Sam made a motion to amend the, to amend and change at least two more packages to
Or,
several packages. From two to several,
Right.
at least two to several packages.
Yeah. okay, so, we had a motion for changing the two to several and a second on it. Any further questions on that? Vote on amending the original motion. All in favor,
We're voting
Aye.
on amending the original motion?
Yes,
because there was a motion made and
and then was an amendment. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
That's, yeah,
Okay,
get to one.
that's how town meeting works. I'm trying to stick,
okay.
all right.
I don't usually, but it's
No,
kind of like, I think that's,
I think that's right.
that's following
Okay.
the rules. Okay, so all in favor of the change from two to several in the original motion?
Aye.
All opposed? None heard. It passes unanimously. We're back to the original motion with the amendment, which is to recommend to the select board to review several options with us so that we can see other options and make it, do comparisons.
Shouldn't we sort of be the ones that are looking, I mean, seeing as we're the ones that are really gonna probably use it more than the select board?
No, they're gonna use it too. They'll use it as much as we do. They kind of like, so
Okay.
select board will use it.
And they're the ones who make the
Town
determination,
administrator.
we just
Right,
recommend, right?
All we can do is recommend.
Right, we can only recommend, but the other part is maybe we should, when we have the meeting and the review with the select board, is bring in, and I think they did, that they had a financial team, and Vicky was in the room, but as they do the review, have some of the people that are using the software.
Yep.
See,
Yeah, and it wasn't presented very well. I don't know.
I,
And
It was horrible.
I didn't even know that's what we were there for.
Yeah, no, it was really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And we never hear from Vicky. Or anybody else for that matter. We just, Nelson with his
Hmm.
creative financing and, the sales pitch, that was pretty much the night.
Pretty much it.
yeah, and there was no real time for a lot of heavy questions
No.
with it.
No, and they couldn't even tell you how much it cost of all things.
No, and I think I think there was additional costs if you
Oh, yeah, it was
added.
the menu and
the
how
bill
many you
that
got.
got
and all
is-
the-
Well, they
you know.
didn't even answer who was gonna put the information in. They couldn't even answer that.
No, that's right, they, inputting the data, they
Put it
Yeah.
together.
they wouldn't answer that question.
Yeah, it was very poor, very.
So,
It was a sales pitch, it wasn't an informative thing.
right, there wasn't,
We can see, if they get some other folks in, we'll see what kind of sales pitch they do. Maybe they'll do
maybe
better,
they'll
maybe
do
they'll
Well,
do
yeah,
worse.
maybe we should give them a
Or-
heads up, we wanna know.
It'll be the same type of thing.
Yeah, don't send a salesperson, send a research
Have a
person.
list of things we want first.
right,
Well, that's a good idea.
That's, yeah,
right, and what
that would probably be a good idea, so then whatever vendor, they'll all have the same information.
right, Yeah.
Well, we need to know how much it's gonna cost, I would think.
Well,
That'd be a
if we
big
gave them the information that we
We
wanted to
wanted.
see,
Yeah.
then they can price it up, then we would get a realistic price.
right,
Mhm.
right.
And, rather than, well, if you know, this is the basic, and then if you want this, if you
Yeah,
want
that
that.
doesn't
then
tell you
it-
anything.
So,
Yeah.
maybe we
The
just.
bundles.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. Okay, I think that's a good idea. I mean, not only is it a good idea, it's a fiscally sound way to make decisions.
Mhm, right, yeah, agreed.
Okay, well, so the motion though is to recommend getting several more
right,
presentations. So we're ready to vote on that?
we did.
No, we voted on the
No, we
amendment.
voted.
Yeah.
Oh, on the
amendment.
amendment.
Yeah, we voted on the amendment.
Oh, so we
So
needed-
this was this discussion.
Yeah.
after the second, so
Okay, so we're going back to the first motion?
we're going to the
To the
first motion
amendment.
with the amendment. We
Right.
voted that it's gonna be, several, the word is several instead of two,
Okay.
instead of having it.
Right, we're
Yeah,
going from
it's kinda
2
like-
to several.
Yeah. So that is the motion on the floor to recommend that we review the several additional software packages. So vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody opposed, unanimously passes. So we will get that in writing, recommend it, get it to town administrator and select board copy. Most times we're copying the liaison to the select board for us, which is.
Okay, which is a good idea where we're gonna have that transition to,
Mhm, right.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3 on the list. The constable position. So as we've been going through last budget session and, the constable position was eliminated by the town. And we had the report from the town clerk. It was about $1,000 more per, election for the cost of having the police do the detail versus the constable.
So it's about $200 compared to $1,000.
I have it right here.
1,300.
Oh, thank you.
I have it here.
Thank you for explaining that is reference.
So
Oh,
in
there you
doing,
go.
in doing some research,
Okay,
back in 1993, the town accepted,
Thank you.
Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 91A, which states the selectmen in any town may from time to time appoint for terms not exceeding 3 years as many constables as they deem necessary. And at one of the town meetings, I forget if it was in March or May, we tried to have them bring the constables back, and we were shot down on that. or I was shut down on that. So so the other way we could possibly do this, and I'm not exactly sure how it works, is to rescind that vote from 1993. And then I believe the constables would then be elected again.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we have to have that put on to the special town meeting.
So you're saying at this town meeting that we're gonna have special?
Yeah.
We rescind, and then at the annual, we warrant, put on as a warrant article.
Yeah.
No.
So they would be on the ballot at that.
Oh,
point.
be on the ballot.
I
Like
think,
any other
Does it
town
automatic-
elected position.
yeah.
So how would that read?
You know, I can't get it on my phone and I left the paper at home, but it would just basically say, to ask the town to rescind that vote from 1993 for that.
So if that vote were rescinded, then automatically the constables would be elected, or?
That's what I'm thinking.
What about the fact that the constable positions have been quote unquote eliminated?
Yeah.
Right.
Can we?
You'd have to
Yeah.
would you have to reinstate them
Yeah,
first?
that's what I,
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah. If it's,
You have to
are they
do-
eliminated? Is that official? Cindy, are they eliminated?
Then
22 years ago, wow.
Well, they
No,
eliminated.
22 years ago, they voted to have them appointed,
Appointed.
Rather
Yeah.
than.
but then they
And
just eliminate, what did they do?
well, they
took away
changed
the-
the policy so that we don't have it, basically.
Well, do we not have any, or did they change the policy they weren't gonna use?
We don't have any after they were appointed until the end of 2025, FY
They could
25.
have reappointed.
So in June, they weren't reappointed at that point.
But were they eliminated? Were they terminated?
The position was terminated and the function was moved to the police at that point.
So that's
Based on
official, we
policy.
know that to
Yeah.
be true.
Yeah,
So-
based on policy.
So then you'd have to create a new position in order to fill
And
it.
make it elected.
Yeah, I think.
If the position was eliminated from the budget.
I think we need more information.
Well, we never paid. The town never paid
Paid,
right.
constables,
It was
except
paid.
when they were working for us.
It was a
It's not a
stipend.
paid position,
Position, okay,
unless they did services for the town.
okay.
That's why I just can't wrap my mind around why they would do that.
Didn't they say there was some
There was, at that
hazy
meeting,
reason about their
Excuse me.
legal abilities or what legal
Well,
responsibilities?
when we asked Lori Schifrin originally, when she told us to drop the bomb, we asked her, she said she wasn't gonna tell us and she didn't have to. I remember that like it was yesterday.
yeah, but at town meeting, the police chief got up and said there was some kind of liability to the
And then the
town.
lawyer said it, but I put in a public request to find out how many times did the constables use a gun and put somebody at risk? And I asked, how many times did the constables arrest people? And as usual, I'm still waiting for my answer to come back because the answer is probably none.
Well, are the surrounding towns still using constables? Do we know?
Lunenburg does not. They've always used police officers and they can't get a constable to come work the elections or anything because it will be stepping on the police toes, so they
Okay, yeah,
kind of.
right, I get that
Yeah.
whole,
But I
yeah.
think the numbers speak for themselves.
Well,
It's
well,
not like we're rolling in big bucks here in
No.
town. And we're talking $1,000
versus
Yeah,
200,
per,
yeah,
per, right?
yeah.
Per,
Yeah.
Election.
per
Yeah.
election.
That
We
we don't
know
have,
we're gonna have one, if not two.
So I don't know, maybe now is not the time to do it. I don't know, because I don't know what, if they've been eliminated, can they now be elected?
But it would have to, yeah, they changed the bylaws and the town bylaws. to make
So how
them
would we
elected
find that
position.
out?
We can investigate it. We can put in a request to speak with the lawyer. And,
And the select people let you know these things.
Yeah, they-
Right. The lawyer already told us all the reasons why we shouldn't have it. I thought that was pretty much not, neutral. Maybe because he
Okay,
didn't have
yeah.
any evidence, you know what I mean? It's one thing to say stuff, and it's another thing to be able to back it up. And there was no backup,
Yeah,
and I didn't get any from my public records request. So, to me, all right, so in 2 years, it's gonna be the primary, what do you call it?
We have the presidential primary, which adds an extra one in the spring, so we'd have to map out when elections are.
I mean, a
Because
congressional primary this year.
we have congressional in November, so
Yes.
but that's FY 27, so it's kind of like FY 26. There's one, unless we have some sort of special election, so we might have 2 elections this year.
So that's 2,000.
So that's
2,000 versus 400.
depending on how the annual town meeting goes. If the vote for 5 select board members is there, that there would, if I recall, the motion is kind of like within 60 days, so that gets you, if you're into July, now you've got July, you've got September, you've got November, then you have April. If you don't have a special, so you might plan on 5 elections that next fiscal year, which is FY 27, if we do this.
So
now-
it's
now you're at
$5,000
$1,000.
right,
versus
and it's gonna vary because.
I mean,
of-
financially, this is a no-brainer.
But there's never really been any really horrible trouble that they've had to have a weapon or, or anything.
No,
Well,
but-
apparently not. I mean,
But those are the pieces.
unless it's so atrocious that they can't tell us. But they're not giving us the information.
Yeah, so, yeah, so,
And it's probably gonna be even a little bit more, because if you go FY 27, you get that little
Yeah,
bit of
little
bump
bump,
up,
you
the
get that
little
bump
bump
up.
Oh,
up,
yeah,
up,
yeah,
so,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you're talking a little, maybe closer to 6, maybe, I don't know.
I just financially,
and if they go-
I don't
Yeah,
understand.
I don't get it at
right, and
all.
if the detail goes wrong, if there's counts, the count takes long at night, the hours are longer.
Well, yeah, because they're guaranteed 4 hours,
And then
no
you gotta
matter
do
what,
it
and
in
then,
increments of 4, correct?
well,
Maybe,
I,
maybe 6, because we
Well,
cover.
I mean, it's been a long
It's
time
8
since,
hours.
it's been a long time since I've
Mhm.
done detail pay. It used to be a minimum of 4 no matter what. If they
Yes,
worked 1
minimum of
hour,
4, but
Minimum of
at
four.
least
and then
8.
it was, and then
Right.
we just paid them, when I did it, we just paid them whatever they work. So if they work 5 hours, they get 5 hours pay, but
Yeah.
I don't know if
Problem
that's
is
changed.
that the elections go from 7 AM to 8
Yeah,
PM.
Right.
so you
So
got,
it's 13 hours.
And this crossover for
Yeah.
lunches and
Yeah.
Yeah,
dinners and-
well, you pay overtime.
Yeah.
and I don't know if you change, like when they change the shift, so you got it like you got a new guy. That new
4
guy
hours.
is now guaranteed 4 hours, even if he only works 3 hours, he's still guaranteed 4 hours, so, so if you change, because of shift changes, you get a new guy, then that detail money is 4 hours. So every time you change an officer during the course of the day, he's getting 4 hours.
So we need more information about the position.
So I was just looking at the policy, and the amendment that was done in July of 23 says, the following amendment to the constable policy was approved by the select board in a meeting of 3/18/25 and voted unanimously. The policy shall be amended to remove the 3rd sentence of the 2nd paragraph, which reads, vacancies shall be announced and publicized in accordance with the town charter, Article 7, Section 710, notice of vacancy. So I don't know why we don't have a constable. I don't understand this at all.
Well, we were told that we were not gonna know.
So we,
We were told by the selectmen. Essentially, it's not our business and they
But
weren't
they
gonna tell
actually,
us.
I don't see in this policy that says it does.
So we have to talk to town council
We have
to
to
get
talk
confirmation.
to, put in the request to talk to town council and see where it is, and see what the new policy is, so maybe we can figure out with the town administrator what the policy is, so we can see it. And once we have that, we'll have an answer. So we'll continue, we'll put this on the next agenda also, if we're good with that.
I think
So
so.
he doesn't have office hours anymore, so we have to actually request, right?
We actually have to request, they canceled the open office hours that were had, and in order to go in, the idea is that we ask around and see if somebody's already requested this information and it's already available. It's kind of, because
No,
what was happening was people asking
oh
for
my
the same.
goodness, so it's gonna be difficult to get to them. We're gonna
I
ask
don't think
around
so.
first, we have to have evidence, some kind of
Right, yeah,
affidavit that
it's
says
kinda
we
like
asked and.
we're gonna
You
ask for
go through the
information.
selectmen, and you
um,
goes through- you have to
see if-
ask them
see if any
they-
of-
The town
No,
administrator.
Dawn is saying we have to ask around to see if anyone else has
Well,
asked
we'll go
the
through
same
the town
question.
administrator.
Oh, so you don't,
The new town
Right, so you,
administrator.
so,
just so you're not gonna be paying twice to get the same information.
Correct.
Right,
yeah, that's the idea is to,
But wouldn't it be
they're watching the
somewhere?
budget.
Wouldn't it be somewhere?
yeah.
Well, that's the idea.
But
is
if you
it
could
might be
find
somewhere,
it.
somebody might have it, somebody could do a search on the drives for keywords and see if they come up, if it's not available. So we'll follow the rules and submit the request for the information. This is what we, you know,
So-
if
so
we don't
request
have the
for-
information, we're looking to speak with the lawyer.
So what are we asking? Request for information on,
Um,
Constable policy or?
on the constable policy, yeah, we want to see
Clarification or something?
clarification of the policy. We haven't seen
Yeah, you should have it.
what the policy is and where it was.
He should certainly know ahead of time what we're looking for before we even talk to him.
Right, well, that's, again, pieces of it is, if a lot of this has already been discussed and is part
Well-
of information that was already provided to Board of Selectmen,
Right,
then,
right, that's fine.
yeah, it's kind of like, it,
Have some kind of clarification. on it.
Right.
Well, I would think
With-
they would have
without-
some information for making the decision to eliminate the position.
Yeah,
They must have
so we
something.
voted on it.
Yeah, we must have something. Well, we
No, we
voted.
didn't vote on it. We tried to vote to
to keep
uneliminate
the,
it,
yeah,
to keep the constable.
Oh,
That
right,
failed.
right.
We didn't vote on
right,
eliminating
right,
it.
right,
They
right.
decided to eliminate it. We tried,
and
We
then.
tried
it
to
was-
town
the
meeting, we
bylaw.
tried to overturn that
Oh,
and say,
that's right,
keep the
okay.
constable.
Yeah, okay.
And
I
that
get it.
failed.
And then it failed because.
So they
I think the
eliminated
police
by
chief and
default.
the town council kind of said that
Well,
there
then-
was
Well,
Yeah.
liability
So
there.
he wouldn't be neutral anyway.
So,
No,
No,
absolutely not.
and
Yeah,
once you
and
say there's
he's supposed to-
liability to the town, people are not gonna vote, vote for it.
But Carol, that's why I asked for the
I
history
know,
on it. You know, it's like,
Yeah, and I
Peter Wolf, the
understand,
Wolf.
but,
Credit.
And they
that's
have to
right,
know.
Yeah,
but just, just as a normal citizen, you're sitting at town meeting, you don't know all
No, I
the,
know.
you don't know all the,
I understand
whatever.
that.
Well,
And because if I was sitting there and didn't know anything, and somebody said, well, this is potential, especially with the police chief or the attorney says there's some liability,
But I won't tell you.
and even you don't know what it is,
Oh,
you're
that's-
probably gonna go,
National
it-
security.
But that's the delivery of the message.
Well,
They
yeah,
should
no,
have said,
but I'm just
it
saying.
happened 100 times, so we really don't want to do it again.
Well,
You know, when he gave
yeah.
the information.
Mhm. No, I
Yeah.
know that, but you just, when
But-
you're talking in town meeting though, you have a lot of people who just aren't that informed.
right.
Right.
Yeah, they haven't,
I mean, just like me, when I, voted for trash, not realizing that that wasn't gonna happen, when,
Yeah.
when I voted and said, oh, that 800,000, sure, I'll have my taxes go pay for trash. The next thing I know, I got purple bags and like, what happened to the trash money?
I know. So,
No, I was in
so
this.
we'll continue to investigate, we'll
to look at it.
look at it, we'll move it to, the next agenda,
Okay,
which I think is January 13th.
January
Okay.
I
13th,
think,
okay.
it's kind of like, I don't know if I usually put it on the agenda to say what the future meeting is.
Yeah, I know, I think
Yeah,
I
it is.
did.
It's
I
on
think
there.
it's on the
Okay.
minutes
Yeah.
too, what the next meetings
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, so. Anything else on the constable? We'll continue. Then being heard, I left the special town meeting and warrant articles on there. Have not seen anything yet from select board when they're gonna open the warrant and close the warrant,
now,
so.
do we have a date yet? Is it January, February
I think it's
25th or
February,
something?
but I hadn't gotten a confirmation on that. I
Okay.
think it was,
think it was, they said the last Wednesday is what they were looking at,
Okay,
but I don't think
which would be-
anything definite.
Yeah, it wasn't definite yet, they have.
So late?
Yeah, I think they're trying to get past the bad weather and hopefully be on an upswing at the end of February, in regards to weather. To get turnout, because usually those mid-winter ones. And I, haven't.
Okay.
So, we'll continue, because if something monetary comes up, or something on the budget comes up on warrant articles, we need to vote on it and have our, so we'll continue to watch.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and it sounds like nobody else has heard anything coming from the warrant articles, or
No,
not yet, okay. And I didn't put it here, but we need to schedule the next meetings. I had sent out the notice from select board for joint meetings in February.
For what?
For
February?
I think it was every Tuesday in February for joint meeting,
yeah, there was
Yeah,
three.
I saw that.
3,
but-
10, 17.
But,
Do we have to pick one, or is that?
No, it would be joint meetings, one a week,
Okay,
through February.
Don, I have a question about that.
I do too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I sat through it last year. It was horrible. It was counterproductive. We didn't get anywhere. It was almost like we were being dictated to, this is what they wanted. End of story. I think that the finance committee should be working on its own without the input of the board of selectmen until a later date. Because I felt personally that it was more of a dictating process. This is what you're gonna do, rather than us being able to free talk and come up with our recommendations. That's just my opinion. And I think it was a tremendous waste of time, because at the end of the day, our
Well,
recommendations were ignored.
Right, and I mean, the whole budget was pretty much,
It was a disaster. It never got, we didn't have a budget.
right.
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
And I do think, we might not, who knows? But I just feel that I would rather not walk in those steps again.
okay,
I say
Yeah.
no. There's no reason why they have to come and interrupt our free dialogue with their opinions. And that's what they
Well,
did.
it's our meeting.
It's our meeting, yeah.
Well, so can we, the budget sheets will start to come in. We have one, but
Right.
the budget sheets will start to come in. Should we review them as they come in? Have our questions, and then we meet with the department heads before we go with the board of selectmen and the department heads? Is
I
that,
think we should meet with the department heads.
Yeah, that was the way it used to be.
Alone. We don't need the board of
Isn't that how
selectmen.
Yeah,
used
it's
to be?
always been that
We
way.
always did it
The
that
last
way.
year or two, it's been, we don't count anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly,
Exactly.
Sam. And if that's the case, then disband the committee.
No.
Well, no, if that's the case. Otherwise, we're all doing our volunteer time, we're not getting anywhere.
I don't know, I feel that way too, but that's a different story. The point is that we have a responsibility to the town people to try to keep tabs on what's happening. Last year, whether it was good or bad, I am not in the audience to remember. There was definitely a lot of input or pushback from us, whichever way you want to look at it, on the floor because of the mixed budget that we had no input on.
Mhm.
Understand?
You know,
But they had our opinions in the end, they had their opinions in the end, and it ended up the way it did. But the people we represent are not the select board, we represent the rest of the community. And that's basically why I've been here and would like to stay here,
Okay, that makes sense.
is
Yeah.
because I remember it's a long time ago, I was very adamantly against the subject. The townspeople liked the subject, so I voted for it. Why? Because they wanted it.
So we should go ahead and start making appointments to have them come in.
The department people.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should.
That's
Yeah,
how I
so-
thought, that's how I thought it was supposed to
Through
work.
us.
What was it like before?
well, it varied. It's kind of like, go ahead, you've been on It's the longest.
When I
haven't
first
seen-
started, every department head came in and talked to us. We didn't have the selectmen there. They
Right.
came and talked to us, we talked to them, we back and forth, that type of thing, and then we'd discuss it afterwards, and then, we'd go on to the next one. And we would have a conversation in the end with the selectmen of where we were coming from, and they had their comments of where they were coming from. But it was never like it was last year. Last year was a tough year.
It was
This year
horrible.
It was
gonna
a terrible
be-
It
year.
was horrible.
This year's gonna be awful too, as far as the money goes.
But,
Well,
yeah.
but let's try to head off.
Let's not do that again. I don't want.
I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah.
So let's start inviting them in,
They being the department head.
department head, and and their budget should be ready.
And we should get the budget before they come in, so we
Yeah, so
all
we
have
can
a
have a
chance
quick-
to.
Yeah.
So we can look at it.
But here's the other thing that happened. Well, Nelson left. Nelson was supposed to be doing forms.
Well,
and
we
what-
don't know what he's done now. Who knows?
Well, I mean, we saw the forms that came in from the treasurer. as-
We like her form.
Right.
We love
And so the
her.
rest of them are supposed to be matching that.
Yeah,
that-
but did
that
he tell everybody that? Did he give everybody her
No.
form so they know how to fill it out? I mean, we don't even know what happened
Well, I did forward what he had sent out for the budget message and the forms.
to all the department heads.
Yeah, I thought I forwarded that.
Oh, I saw,
Here,
yeah.
I saw that.
Yes, I
Yes,
saw
you-
that.
you-
So that went to
yeah.
all the department heads.
Right.
Yes, yes.
That went to all
And
department
saying
heads.
With the-
we're gonna
with
be
the
ready
forms,
by January
yeah.
5th. So why don't we make a list and decide who we wanna see first, or who,
Right, or let's
or what?
get the.
That's the
get
forms.
Get the forms and put together
Oh,
questions.
like
Okay.
Kathy said, look at them
Right.
so that we have our
We'll-
questions
we'll
in
review
place.
them.
Okay,
And we
Okay.
give them,
Yeah.
so we don't wanna bury them with questions that they're hearing for the first time in the meeting.
correct.
Additional things might, but if we see it, and one of the things might be, the transfer request that we got at the end of last year. It's kind of like, yeah,
Well, everybody should understand, we can only go to a certain percentage, we cannot go over that.
well, but at the end of last year, we moved, I think it was 4,500 or 40, something less than 5,000, more than 4,500, into an account for the treasurer. There was one transfer at the end, so the budget that has been prepared, is it with that $5,000, or was that a one-time? So there's questions that we can put together in advance, and they can be answered before they come in.
So those budgets from the department heads are supposed to be in by January 5th?
January 5th.
So our meeting is January 13th.
Yeah.
So can you give them to us so that we can look at them? So on the 13th, we can have our questions? Or are we gonna all get them on the 13th?
No, we shouldn't, yeah, we should have them in advance.
So will people, department heads be coming in on the 13th?
Well, we do them all at once.
No, but-
No, we gotta get
no.
our questions.
Well,
So we're gonna meet on the 13th to do the questions for the department heads.
And then start.
And then schedule.
right,
I think
so,
we,
Yeah,
and I
I think
wouldn't be
that's a-
surprised
yeah.
if you're
Okay,
gonna end up meeting more than once a week.
and
Yeah.
but will we get their
Yeah.
sheets?
Yeah, well,
Because
that's
this
all
is
right, if
bad.
they're
Yeah.
productive
That would-
meetings.
yeah,
Was that
so,
an issue?
Well, yeah,
that has been an issue in the past,
What's been an
So-
issue, I'm sorry?
Not getting the budget sheets.
right, because I think they go back, and I think there's a back and forth with the town administrator first, between the administrator and the department head.
Well, maybe we won't have that.
Okay, well,
situation.
DLS says if we don't have the budgets by the deadline, then the budget gets reversed to what was last year. End of story, DLS. So,
Mhm.
and I don't think that we should be giving them any leeway on that. This is financially a crisis that we're in, according
Well,
to everybody.
I think according to what I've read, elected boards and committees, they don't come under the Board of Selectmen. So they should be sending them to us and to the Board of Selectmen at the same time.
Right.
So maybe the plan would be to do the elected boards and
First,
positions
yeah.
first.
Because we should get copies of them first,
Right,
then they'll,
So like who?
planning board. Just Board of Health,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
recreation.
Oh, so not a
Cemetery
department,
park.
so it's not a department.
No, it
Cemetery
is.
and Parks is appointed.
No, no,
Oh,
No,
they-
they're elected.
yeah, the
Yeah.
planning board's
But-
elected.
but yeah, the budget,
It's not a
Usually-
department, right?
I was gonna say that's the department head.
Planning board.
No, it's a board, but I'm an elected official on the board.
Right,
So,
right.
okay, and
So anything that's on the ballot,
anything that's on the ballot, the elected
So who
position
does your budget?
could be.
Beth probably, right?
Beth, yeah, Beth
And then
probably
you
does,
go over it.
but there's not much to the budget.
No,
It's
there
dues, there's some dues.
There's a
there's some-
lot of work for the planning board, but not a lot of money.
Nobody, no,
Yeah.
nobody gets paid except for Beth, but she's a town employee.
Yeah, and your expenses are next to nothing.
Well, it's
Is
some
that-
dues,
would that be true
memberships,
for most of the
whatever.
boards? I would,
Um,
I mean, kind of like we're.
no, because Board of Health, they have a bigger budget because they
Yeah,
have
right,
the
right.
landfill, they have the,
Oh, yeah, the energy, the thing that they, yeah, they,
yeah,
all
all of
that stuff for the
recycle
landfill
center,
in the.
Hmm.
trash, you know, they have
Recycle,
all
yeah.
of that.
Yeah, the trash is interesting because we're gonna talk to them about it, but it's not part of the budget
Right.
because, yeah.
So it's
kinda
kind
like,
of
so
like-
yeah, so in
Yeah.
addition to the budget they're preparing, it's gonna, they're gonna,
Now,
we're
do
gonna
we,
continue.
do we meet with the water department?
In the
They
past,
work.
we had, but, I think we should try to get them in again. It's kind of like-
Okay.
And
Try.
We did last
Yeah,
year, I
we-
think,
we
right?
tried.
Oh, okay.
He came in.
We tried, but I
I
thought it
was-
was canceled.
I
thought we
wasn't
backed out.
sure.
Did that one get, maybe it might have, I don't.
Are they-
Yeah,
Because
it's all kind
they're
of
a different animal too,
They-
because they have their enterprise.
Right.
While we're on the subject of that, are they raising the rates?
They are, but
5%?
not very minimal. And
Very
only
minimal?
because a lot of
5%?
them, no.
No, okay, sorry.
Well, we're
We-
getting
we
off
need to call
topic.
it back.
Well,
It was-
we get
I
a-
mean,
it's
it's
got
probably
to-
gonna come out to be like $1.25 a month.
Is this
Okay,
to pay for the lawsuit?
No,
No,
it's-
no,
okay.
it doesn't do that.
We need to pull it back in.
Oh,
We were
yeah, we-
trying to prepare the
So
meeting.
once you
It's
was
kinda
there.
like, and we were talking about some of the subjects, so I thought we were there, so I don't want
Okay, okay.
water,
So meet on the 13th to go over what we
what we
have
have, what our
received,
questions.
and
Okay.
then start setting up appointments with people.
Yeah.
Does this mean we'll probably be meeting once a week for a while?
Probably, because
Okay.
I know for a while, sometimes we were doing twice a week, but it kinda,
Yeah.
it gets,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think in February, we can start meeting with the board of selectmen, and it's gonna
It was
be,
the Oreo
Yeah.
thing that did the.
right,
Well, but,
So
because we had our meetings and we had the meetings with the board of selectmen.
we did, yeah, and
But
and
we
then
need to get
sometimes
ahead of it.
we were doing joint meetings twice a week.
do you know what I mean? We need to
Yeah.
be ahead of it, so that
Right,
in January, we have our meetings.
but we also want from the board of selectmen, maybe there needs to be a joint meeting on the 3rd, somewhere in January that we talk and discuss, because we need to know what their plan is for the budget too.
What does that mean?
What's that mean? How they're gonna prepare it and put it together, what their real budget message is to us. So instead of waiting until the whole budget is done and giving us the budget message, give us what their budget guidance is and what their plans are for, the organization of the town.
And a lot of this also has to do with the expected receipts, correct?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna, I
Some
was just
reason they
gonna
don't
say
discuss
that, when
that.
do we get what the expected receipts are for next year, so that we know how much money we can
Right,
spend?
the recap sheet, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when do we get that?
Well, we never got
Usually that
that.
comes later on, because some of the input has to come from the assessor, some of the input, is generated, and then we have to see what the warrant articles are gonna be, because warrant articles go on the recap sheet. So it's a living document about, where the budget stands and how much money there may be in free cash or whatever to pay for some of these things
Yeah,
and balance it out.
Well, judging by the weather and the fact that the snow plows are out there when there's a millimeter of snow on the road,
no, they
No.
pre-treated the road today, I know,
Yeah,
because of the ice. and
The
they were
icing.
expecting-
yeah, they were out there with the
So,
salt or sand or whatever they put down.
Okay,
okay,
so
so,
that answers a lot of my questions. Thank you.
okay, it's, yeah, a lot of schedules, so we had the 13th schedule, so we'll try to see how quickly we can get the files from
Mhm.
the departments that are elected that
Yeah.
forward to us.
Were they told a deadline?
They were given a deadline to have them in by January 12th, so we're in the window.
So that's is that all departments?
That's every department.
Every
So,
department, so, okay.
When's
So
our-
does anybody slap their hands if they don't produce?
DLS says if they don't have it by the deadline, then they revert to the prior year's budget.
Yeah, I
That
wonder
works
if
for
we've
me.
ever done that.
I'm sure we haven't,
I'm sure we haven't, because we've.
because we let people
Do whatever
they
they
all do
want.
it, right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
so,
mantra here,
kind of-
no rules.
Yeah, so,
so we'll distribute the files so that people have time to look at them, and we can start constructing our messages. Is there any other information? Do we want another PVA? Before we start looking at the budget?
Yeah, we need
See where they
to
are?
also review that too, I think, at our
Mhm.
next meeting,
Okay.
just to see how
Yeah.
the spending is going, because we
And-
have,
In addition to the BVA, should we get an update on the recap sheet
I agree, Dave,
to this
100%.
date for the year?
You mean the FY
Yes.
20?
FY 26
Yes.
receipts.
I had asked for FY 25, so we'll request for documents, so we want to see the final budget for FY 25, the final receipts and how it matched to the recap sheet for FY 25.
Yeah,
All that information should be available because it was submitted for certification for the free cash, which we're waiting for. I haven't heard. if we're back.
yeah,
well, I'd also like to know how we're doing this year on receipts.
Right, so, yeah,
right,
we,
exactly.
right, but, yeah, because that helps us plan. Are we on target for what we said we were gonna get?
Right,
Are we 50% there?
Yeah.
We didn't do that last year though, did we?
no,
we didn't really get the receipts.
Yeah.
Oh, we had no idea how much money we
But
had
it's
spent.
been,
well, it's not that as much, but you wanna see, are you on target with the recap sheet? If you said you were gonna get, 2 million from general receipts, the additional things that aren't listed individually, there was gonna be 2 million on revenue for building permits and other things that are charged for. Did we hit those targets? Can we break it down by department? It's kind of, where they were in FY 25 versus where we are in FY 26.
But we should be able to get 5 to 6 months of revenue.
Yeah.
It might not be 100%
It-
accurate, but at least we get a clue.
Right, so we see where it is. We've had two sets of tax bills go out, so tax bill revenue should, we should be able to see that. Like I say, the other revenues for where they are.
Yeah, kind of like how we're looking at the trash.
well, we also want an update on the trash.
We continue to, yeah, that's a continued
Let's
piece.
get
We're
that.
still waiting for Elizabeth to come up with, the tonnage reports added to the revenue reports.
They don't have that yet?
Haven't seen it. She said she'd mail it, so I'm gonna, in addition to those things, we'll add the reports. We'll ask for, Elizabeth's, report for,
How long has it been going on?
for trash.
Was it August? When did it start?
September, was it a 1 September?
There's actually sort of 2 dates. We sort of entered this year, and the first 2 months were paid for by the stabilization fund transfer.
Mhm. I
Okay,
remember
So,
that, yeah.
so that's the piece. It's kind of like, so it really started in FY 26 in earnest, but we didn't start collecting using the stickers until September 1st. So we gave July and August to buy the stickers and get them in and get the buy-in to the program.
so,
So the sticker will run out at the end of this year, June 30th. The 2025 sticker will go away, and townspeople will have to have a sticker for 2020, for the FY.
We have a sticker now, don't we?
We
Yeah.
have a sticker
Yeah,
now.
but what
but
he's saying is the sticker
yellow
that we bought
it's
runs
only
out at the
good,
end of June.
right,
And we'll have to buy a new sticker
for July 1st.
And the next.
Oh, you don't get your number renewed?
No,
You
because,
might.
because of the college, if somebody
Well-
new joins.
Oh, yeah,
or
so
drops
what are we
off,
gonna do?
I
Put a
bet-
sticker on top of the sticker on top of
I
the sticker?
bet,
You
because
do that
how
on
they,
your license plate.
you
No, but
do
you
it
can
on.
take it off.
You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't take it off my
But
license.
I don't
I
either.
just think it over.
I don't.
It's almost like-
Yeah.
But, yeah, maybe it's
But
gonna
we
be,
don't know what the charge is gonna be for the stickers next year.
Right,
Right.
not
Because
yet,
it's gonna
that,
be for
Lower.
12 months, and it might be lower, it might be more.
Or
We don't know.
depending on,
right, it depends on.
It'll depend on how this year goes.
Right.
so how does, because we gave them 160,000.
Correct.
So how does that overall affect their budget? Because next year, they're not gonna have that 160,000 that we gave them this year.
Thought a lot of
They
that
were
covered
supposed to
the
make
first
it
2 months
up.
of
That
that.
Gonna,
was finished.
rather, it,
July, and I thought there's
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
that
I'm gonna
160
cut
was
back
July,
on-
August.
yeah, I'm gonna cut
And
back
then
on the discussion
we'll
on
see.
Yeah.
trash. It's kind of like, because it wasn't on the agenda,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
preparing,
Okay.
so trash will be
Okay.
discussed in the next.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
it, but
Yeah,
your
so-
question, because the more we discuss it, if people are watching, they will hear things that,
They're not supposed to.
that are, so we'll continue the trash discussion on the,
So on the next agenda, we have constables, trash, the
Yeah.
BVA,
yes,
the
presentation.
revenues,
And who was coming in?
and then review the budgets that we have.
right, yeah.
Okay.
It is, it's kind of like we get into the heavy, but
Order out pizza.
I know.
it's not in our budget.
I
So it's kind of like, we can add a line for that.
Okay.
So we need to get right to it and keep the
Yeah.
conversation
Going,
focused.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for that. It's kind of like, okay, so we have the January 13th meeting scheduled. We'll schedule others after that, or do we want to try to?
You think we should just schedule weekly meetings at that point?
Yeah, I think we had held off.
Because we can always cancel it.
I think
Right,
we
but if
should
we-
schedule,
Okay.
I really
if we-
do.
How is everybody with Thursdays? It's kind of like, I know we've been meeting Tuesdays, but
Thursdays.
Board of Selectmen meet on Tuesdays, and there are a lot of other boards that meet on Tuesdays.
Oh, and Thursdays. is,
On-
I
Yeah,
do better on Tuesdays.
I do better on
Okay.
I do
Tuesdays.
too.
okay, then Tuesday it is. We kinda-
And we don't have to even, if they meet here, we can meet in another room.
We can go to the,
Great Hall if we
Great
have
Hall
to,
if
or
we
we
have
can
to.
downstairs.
it's kind of like.
Who
if
else
we're not-
meets on Tuesdays? I know Board of Health is on Mondays, Conservation's Wednesday,
Hmm,
Planning Board's Monday.
Monday, yeah, planning board's Monday.
Yeah, so maybe Tuesday isn't that bad.
No,
We could
I,
probably do room 2 also.
yeah, so we'll alternate weeks up here with Board of
Okay.
Selectmen, because they do first and third,
Right.
and those weeks we'll meet downstairs. If we like this room better, or we can stay constantly in meeting room 2,
Okay,
so.
so we're
Okay,
gonna start off with the 13th?
Set that up, 2027.
And then the
20.
3rd, the 10th, and the 24th is with the selectmen, right?
No,
Um,
we're not doing
potentially-
that.
if we're meeting weekly, it probably isn't a bad idea. They meet with them, see if, have conversations if there's
See
questions.
where
back and
we
forth.
are. Yeah,
Where
okay.
we are, where they are,
So we're gonna still meet on the 3rd, the 10th, and 17th with them?
Well, we'll
Um,
still meet.
we'll
May not be-
meet,
We'll just
it may
meet,
not be
okay.
with them.
Okay.
All right,
It's kind of like,
okay.
it'll be with them.
that's
as-
February anyway.
Yeah.
So we're just having 2 meetings in January?
No, we,
3,
What's the, what,
13, 20, 27.
oh, 20 and 27. Okay.
And then, okay.
okay, and additionally, it's kind of like we'll get information, if it's available, we'll bring it on. to-
Can you post it ahead of time? Yeah.
What I was thinking is, in addition to just the budget, there's other accounts that have been created around, like the election account.
Like the what?
Town clerk. There was,
The special article,
there's a lot of special article out there,
yeah.
that we want to make sure we review this year. We don't want to get there.
Right, because some are completed. I think they went through that last year. Some special articles were finished, but there was money
Right.
left over, so they were able to take that.
Right.
But yes, doesn't have to be a town meeting vote.
It has to be a town meeting vote if we're
Yeah.
gonna, if there are. So that's something that we have started, on a somewhat regular basis, look at all those.
Yeah.
But
Good
what I was
idea.
thinking is there's certain ones that they want to carry over year to year, and we wanna make sure if they've used any money out of them, do they need
To
to be
reimburse
replenished?
them or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, so little, it's in there, but you know, there's, until the money runs out, nobody notices
Yep.
that. And I don't think, we can't deal with surprises on the budget. We gotta know. And, the other is, the revolving accounts.
Yeah,
Take a look at them. Kind of like, because every year it's kind of like just that one article says, yeah, this is the amount we want to renew in this revolving account.
yeah, and is it enough?
Is it
Because
enough?
things are going up, so.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
Well, it's probably everything's going up.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, on those that are revolving, do we have enough in there or, you know?
Okay.
all right.
Sorry, it's kind of like just making that final note.
Mhm.
With that, I didn't have anything else, any subjects anybody else wants on
To
agenda?
put on the agenda? No, I think I'm good.
Well, the only thing I came in with, my brain, you've already talked about, and that's the budgeting and the sheets we're gonna be handed, that they're not done in 6 points.
That's something, yeah, we had talked, one of the things, not just the content, the format of the content, but the format of the output. You know, how do we make sure that you're not trying to look at 6 fonts or smaller
Yeah,
in the books that we had last year? Speaking of, do we want budget books again? Because those need to.
I have one I can turn back in because it's empty except for the
Yeah.
dividers.
Okay.
I can bring it in on the 13th, so.
I have mine right here. I mean, I can certainly empty it out.
Yeah, no, but we want them printed again. It's kind of like
Yeah.
we want
Yeah, well,
but the binders.
As long as I can read it.
Because that's a request for.
as long as it's readable, yeah.
See what we can do with that.
There were some decent ones last year.
So we'll look for them all to be consistent. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
7:07 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. All opposed?
Nobody, yeah,
No one.
have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
The recording has stopped.
Okay, wasn't that fun? I got a few people left over. It's kind of boring going on in here. Okay, yeah, this was the Finance Committee not getting anywhere, just talking about things that the Board of Selectmen hasn't done when the Board of Selectmen really don't have to do anything here. That they spent time discussing the constable thing, like as I predicted, and their role is only to assess the difference in cost, not get into the politics of why we don't have constables anymore, who made that decision, what kind of BS happened last year where it was done, it was completed. There's no more constables. There's not going to be any constables. The Finance Committee has absolutely no input in that issue. What they do have to say is, here's the change. This is the impact on the budget from this year, from before, comparing this year to the year before and going forward. And without getting into a pissing contest about, well, if we still had constable, it would only cost this much. Just get out of that sentence. Don't even put that anywhere. But just identifying we have an increased budget line item or multiple budget line items. Because one of the costs, the biggest thing that impacts the town, the whole Finance Committee, the only thing that they're really looking at is what the constable did that is going to matter to the town's budget. This is the Finance Committee. This isn't the Political Action Committee to do other things. This is the Finance Committee. Their only role is to review the financial reality. Okay, used to cost $200. Now it costs $1,000. But it's really, they need to look at it from multiple areas. Okay, hourly versus event, and what's the impact. We did this last year, and since last year, they also gave the select board, without engaging with the FinCom, which I think they should have, but they didn't, and let's move on. They gave them a raise on their detail rate, so that increased it even more. So now, as we're going into budget, it's mostly the town clerk's budget who's needs to filter in how many cops do I need on an election, or we're doing town meeting. Are we going to have officers on detail at town meeting? Whose budget is that? I'm not sure whose budget town meeting is. I don't think it's town clerk. I think it's probably select board. But as far as the elections, and how many elections are we going to have per election, there can be some kind of, there's a formula that needs to be on the table every time there's an election, and it shouldn't have to be asking the town clerk, well, how much is it going to cost us to have an election? That should be in everybody's book. Everybody should have that information where they can just turn to it. They can pull it up on their phone. They can pull it up on their computer. What's the cost of an election? And the variables can be let's use an Excel spreadsheet. Everybody loved them today, right? They didn't like them before. Now they love them. So we're going to use an Excel spreadsheet. Maintain that. What's it cost? What are the costs? What's the input? What do we have to spend money on in a town election? And how those costs change? Because it's not just the cop's salary that changes. It's the cost of printing ballots. It's the hourly cost of the Board of Registrars. There's election workers. There's this whole thing of what's it cost to put on an election, and it changes. And as Harrison's our town clerk, and when he has to figure out how many elections are we definitely going to have next year. And then some elections that are state, we have to have early voting and all this mail-in stuff. And then if we're just having a town election, we've generally not had the mail-in stuff, only absentee, because the costs associated with it are just ridiculous. So, and then in the event that we're going to have an override election, if that's going to happen, if they're going to have special elections for some reason, that has to be not only, in fact, that should be budgeted. The town clerk's office, in my opinion, should probably have an extra election in the budget. We know how many elections I got to have. We're definitely scheduled by law. There's certain elections that are on the books. Those I got to budget this way. Then I should have an extra election already in there, because historically we've had extra elections without a plan. We got to have them. Put a budget in there. Then you should pad that budget a little bit, because sometimes there's recounts. There's different things that happen that we might need extra hours. Something happens and we got a hand count. Machines went down, which doesn't usually, sometimes machines do go down, but not all of them. But these are things that have to be budgeted. And the only thing the FinCom needs to be interested in is, okay, what impact? Only. What's the impact? Okay, we've gone from constable to cops. What's the impact? And don't get into any politics. Being pissed off about what the select board did and why they did it is politics. Finance is what's the impact of what is the cost factors here? And that needs to be known and needs to be made sure that this is going to impact our budget and it's coming off. You can't just say, oh, we're only going to increase, town clerk can only increase their budget by 2.5%. It's like, which election are we going to refuse to have? Are we not going to have the state election in the fall? Which election are we not going to have? We must have more than a dusting of snow. I just heard a plow go by. I haven't looked outside, I'm afraid. It could have been just sand, doing salt, but I don't know. That was definitely a highway truck that went by. Anyway, this is, they go way deep into things, and they want to meet with all the department heads. I mean, some of this stuff is like, you go, why, what is the result you're hoping to get? So you could pick through, well, why did your office supplies go up $20? What's that for? I mean, I'm interested in the $100,000 differences. I want to see what's the trend. I want to see the total impact on the budget. The FinCom should not be getting into each line item of the department head's budget. That is select board. And not, I mean, doing some of this stuff is sometimes a lot of time consuming. And what is the end result? What is it that you're looking for? What do you expect to gain from this? And they're asking for, what are the how much, what are we getting, what are the receipts? How come we can't get that information? It's because it's not available. I mean, even if somebody told you who paid their excise tax this month, we don't get that money this year. We'll get it as through the cherry sheet in the spring, when all those things come out, and then there's additional reports that do come out, but we don't have immediate access to that money. It's later. There's a number of accounts that we don't get the money right away. We get access to it next year. We get the previous year's money comes in that we have access to spend, and then it kind of carries over. It does carry. It doesn't kind of carry over. It does. And things like the building department, they want to try to access the building department receipts for permitting and try to put that money in the budget. You can't do that, because the plumber, we have plumbing inspectors. We have an electrical inspector. We have a plumbing inspector. They're not employees. Like when you you have a building permit, and whatever you're having done, let's say you're having your bathroom remodeled. You need an electrician and a plumber, as well as the construction. Like the building inspector is going to look at the construction of it. Make sure you've got the right 2x4s in there, 1x4s, whatever you're putting in there, and the headers and all this other stuff. And the floor you're not gonna fall through downstairs to the living room when you sit on the toilet. It's gonna hold. But the plumbing inspector is on a stipend, and so is the electrical inspector. But they're going to come in and sign off on any plans and any work that gets accomplished. That money, we're paying them out of the building permit money. We don't get, if I'm going to spend $200, I'm just using a round number. I don't know what it costs. Let's say I'm going to apply for a building permit, and it's going to cost me $200 based on the work that I said I'm going to do. That number is derived from the building inspector or Janet in the building inspector's office saying, okay, so because there's electrical, there's plumbing, there's this and there's that, these are the fees. And that fee isn't just because the town's going to collect this money and it can be spent. We can use that money in the budget. No, you can't, because that money has been already allocated to pay the inspectors, because they only get paid when they go out. They don't get paid just because. Those aren't just salaries. That money they're paid with comes from the building permits already. So for the FinCom, now you want to count it twice. And then, well, how are we going to pay the inspectors when they go out? Because you want to allocate that money. When people get permits, that's why that doesn't show up. And when I pay my excise, I just paid excise tax on 2 vehicles. That money is going into an account, but nobody can spend it. It's going to, in April, the cherry sheets, or May, or somewhere, May, or June even, June, we'll get the cherry sheet, and all the excise tax, you can go on the DLS website. And if these people if they're not doing this on at least a weekly basis, each of them, not well, who's going to do it? I need somebody to tell me what it says. No, you need to go on the DLS website yourself and look at the reports that are already there. They're already there, and you can go in the gateway, the DLS gateway, and get a whole bunch of reports that are anyone in the public can get to. Some of the reports you can't access because they're password protected, but the reason they are is because those areas are where the assessor or the accountant or the treasurer will input data, and you don't. The only people that can touch that are them, nobody else. You can't get that much. That you can't touch it. And the reports, though, that come from those accounts or the reports that have that data, you can access, but you can't change any of the data in there. And it's all available to all of them, but they don't know how to use that. And they need to start because they're wasting everybody's time. Even this whole meeting they accomplished absolutely nothing in this meeting, except they came out. I hope they get home safely. They came out in bad weather. It's icy, and they're going to drive home. And none of them are young. They're my age or older. And I don't know. They just came out to bitch. That's it. And they accomplished absolutely nothing. If you asked them, what'd you accomplish tonight? Nothing. They can't. They'll just be stunned at that question. Well, we're going to have the select board. No, select board doesn't answer to you. And all your questions, you have, the FinCom has all the answers to all the questions that they had tonight. They already have it's available to them. They don't need somebody else to do it for them. There's a whole bunch of people in there. Whole bunch of them. They're all capable. They just have to look it up. And this is why our town is so effed up financially. Nobody knows how to turn on their computer and just look something up or look at some of the information that they were discussing tonight. It's in the town report. Last year's town report has much of the data they're looking for. And if they actually read it, they also need to read the Finance Committee handbook. They all have a copy. They do. I sent them all a copy. Myself. And they also have confirmed in their meeting that they all got another copy from somebody. They should have 2 or 3 copies by now. They have all the information that they need to do their job, and they just won't even open a folder. They won't open the file. They won't. They just won't. And even if they can't, they won't. They won't. They just won't. Somebody else has to do it for us, and then we're just going to sit here and judge you. We're going to judge how they did it. As far as the ClearGov software, all they have to do is, again, open their computer, go in the Google search term, and put ClearGov. They'll get lots of information. I have told them also to go to the towns online. Go to the websites for the towns that have ClearGov. Pepperell's one of them. And see what they have for their budget book. Most of what ClearGov is doing is management level. It's not inputting, the treasurer and the accountant, they're doing day-to-day stuff that they have to input some information into ClearGov. I'm not sure the volume of that. But they're not doing budget analysis. That the ClearGov is going to provide the tools for the budget analysis that the select board needs, the FinCom needs, and the department heads for planning within their own departments need. And I agree with them that the presentation that they received sucked. That a few select board meetings ago, they had somebody from ClearGov who didn't have time to spend much time with them, but he did give a sales pitch, but he didn't explain anything on what it can do for you. In fact, everybody in the room really knows. The FinCom is particularly bad about this. Select board's not much better, but it's budget analysis, and they need to learn how to do this. There are numerous videos on the Department of Revenue, Department of Local Services has YouTube channels. And it's not just fun and games like mine. And mine isn't that much fun and games either. But it's not entertainment. They're actually educational and they're short. They're focused and they're short for town officials who they're not finance directors in their real day job. You know, town officials in towns, but they have to learn things quick. And these videos that DLS provides help you understand what your role is and how to get out of the weeds and just look at things that are going to matter. And they won't. They will not look at these other towns to see, well, what is ClearGov doing for them? You just look at what Townsend's doing, which is shit, and you can see what's Pepperell doing. What are these other towns? I know Pepperell has ClearGov. I every now and then I did have more in my head about other towns that do, but almost I think half the state has ClearGov, and it makes everything work for them, and it takes the errors out of Excel. Excel has numerous errors. In fact, while you were watching the video, I was listening to it, but I was working on a spreadsheet. I was working on my spreadsheet for snow and ice, and saying, okay, I haven't done a formula in a long time, so I use Copilot a little bit to okay, I need to do this. Can you tell me? I need the formula, and then I put it in wrong. See, because it's like I'm a human, and I still have to take what I think I know and put it in there and see how it works. And then when it doesn't work, I have to identify that it doesn't work and figure out the problem, solve the problem, and get the right solution. I did, but I spent a long time doing it. And I got to go back, and I needed another level of information that I need to get my chart, my table, my spreadsheet, to give me another layer of evaluation of this data. And so I got to play with another formula. And I'm doing things manually, which takes time. But with ClearGov, you enter the data once. And you just tell it, there's already pre-programmed reports. And you can do more than what ClearGov is, the basic reports. But you can, all the ratios that are in this books. I got a book like that thick with all these financial analysis ratios that, of course, I don't think if I gave them, I did give them the book of the ratios, but they didn't, I don't think they've opened, oh, this is too much. No, it's not really, but they don't know what the reports mean. What good is that? That's what, but ClearGov will produce all this reporting, and so that somebody that has two shits for brains can figure out what this means to our town going forward. How do we evaluate this, and how's this going to impact us? And because of these types of analysis, this is how I know that we need a $1 million override. And I'm proving it over time here. Because I already know, after watching I already know what our budget hasn't done, and the availability of additional money coming in hasn't occurred. We're at the same levels. And that's already determined by the state. When we look at new growth is an important number, but we do not have enough new growth. And it would be nearly impossible to create new growth without creating a huge development overnight, not plan it and start, get some permits and let's start the planning process. And we're going to build, a few homes over here, a few homes over there. That's not going to do shit. I mean, we need new growth in order to save our budget without an override. We need new growth that is multiple developments with hundreds of multifamily dwellings to be built and completed by July 1st. Hundreds of them. We need to add 20% to our population with this new growth. The new growth is talking about money, not people. But if you're going to build houses, I mean, building factories is nearly impossible for Townsend, even if we wanted them, because we don't have wastewater treatment. Everybody's on septic, and to build something, somebody would have to really want to come here and build their own wastewater treatment plant to take in. But we've got so much conservation and aquifer issues. You know, these are things that are just nightmares. If people like the way life is in Townsend, we have to be willing to pay for it, which is a side statement. But the only way we can just pay for the things that we already have is with an override as a reset, because we haven't done a reset in decades. And I mean decades. Anyway, but the FinCom, oh no, you know, I hear that the individuals on the FinCom, you know, are not buying my talk on an override. It's like, because you just don't want one. You don't know why. How can they need to explain, how is it even possible that you're going to squeeze $1 million out of that budget to spend on other things? You're not. You're just not. It's not there. Because when I talk about $1 million override, I'm not talking about new stuff. I'm not talking about new stuff. I'm talking about just maintaining what we already have, because the increase in costs. When I talk about health insurance for the employees going up 13%, well, how are you going to pay for that? When, you know, this 2.5 thing, your theory is that, well, we can only raise taxes by 2.5%. Well, but we have to raise health insurance premiums. We can't charge the employees 13% more. So we're going to cut their pay by 13% to pay for their health insurance? No. That has to come out of the tax base. But you don't want an override. Well, okay, that means somebody has to probably get fired, maybe 2 people, in order to pay for everybody else's health insurance. No. We need those employees. And people will quit. They'll find another job if the wind is blowing the right way. No, I'm out of here. You know, I got to find a job that'll pay me more and give me insurance without making me worry about what I'm going to have for health insurance next year. $1 million. We don't need $1 million just for health insurance. That's a cumulative amount of all the things that have gone up that are outside the control of the town. And there's not like hidden money. I keep hearing there's a slush fund. There's no slush fund. That would be a stabilization account, but we haven't been dealing with that. We need $1 million override. That's it. And yeah, I mean, snow and ice alone we need to increase by 200,000 alone. More than that's 200,000 more than what we've been budgeting. That's a minimum. And then schools is another 500,000. Then we need 190,000 to cover the health insurance problem. And another, I don't know what they negotiated for the union contracts. The election costs have gone up a few thousand, probably more than that. I'm going to say maybe 10. And for next year, it's a bunch of state elections, so we got to do, the costs are higher. I mean, ClearGov I understand, will cost $10,000 this year. I'm pretty confident the Board of Selectmen are going to use free cash to get it started, and then it'll be budgeted for $20,000 for next year, maybe a little bit more than that. So we're at $1 million. We're at $1 million. It's $1 million, and that is not bad. And every video I'm doing, I'm talking about this override thing, and that $1 million override is not, believe it or not, it's not painful to the taxpayer. It's not. There's a slight increase, but when you get your tax bill, you can't look at your tax bill and say, well, this amount of my tax bill is override. And I'll tell you something I don't expect. Kind of just, I don't have an actual number. I don't have a scientific thing. Just by my observations, that real estate prices appear to be pretty stable. They haven't gone up in the high percentage that they were for a few years from COVID years like 2020, 21 to now. There was a big jump. I don't know how, I was surprised. I guess speculators, but 21 or so, the big explosion in values, home values. I know my neighbor's house almost doubled in value in in real estate value. Zillow. I'm using Zillow. Zillow is not an exact science, but it gives you an idea. And it's like, wow. So it's like, oh, I wonder what their taxes went up to. But and then your assessed value is usually lower than your real estate value, which you can all get to. Everybody can get this on the Townsend website, by the way. But there's been pretty stable. So even with an override, if you get your tax bill, we're going to get a tax bill for February and May. That's still this year. So when we go into next year, we'll get a tax bill due for August. If we do $1 million override, your taxes may not go up. They might be the same, about the same. They might go up a little, but I don't think they're going to go up hardly that much, depending on what your house has done valuation wise. Because prices have been pretty stable. We haven't seen that big jump. So I think I'm being general here. Don't go to the bank with what I have to say, but I think that this is a good year to do it. This is a very good year to do an override. And when I say this year, I'm talking about for July 1st, for next year. So I believe that our tax bills for February and May are going to be higher than they were for November was the last bill we had, because those are estimated bills, and then February and May, and then those of you that are going to be paying the CPA tax, which the CPA starting January 1st, we have to fill out if you think you're exempt, you got to get those applications in starting at the first of the year. For some reason, the town is not telling anybody about this, that you have to apply for your exemption. Nobody's just going to do it automatically. You got to go in, you got to fill out this friggin' form and prove that you exist on the universe and how much money you don't make to get the exemption. Don't forget that. Everybody's like thinking that it's already happened. No. And then the CPA tax will be added to our tax bills. And since they didn't do it beforehand, we're all going to get the CPA tax, and we all have to do abatements. If you're exempt, you got to go in and do more paperwork to get the CPA taken off your taxes. And they might have to send you a check. They probably will, which you probably won't get until June. It's a mess. But that's how it's going to be. But anyway, the FinCom, I wish they would just figure out what they're supposed to be doing. Just read the finance handbook when they go to bed at night. Just sit there and read a chapter out of the FinCom handbook, even if they don't think it applies to them. Then they should start watching YouTube videos that DLS puts out. Because they haven't, tonight was a waste of their time. A waste of our time watching it. But it's not a waste, because when we watch them and we see what kind of nightmare that they're doing, we get to see the problems. Like, okay, this is why. This is what's happening. Nothing is happening. And we get to see that. And it tells us the true picture on why things are so screwed up. And I mean, at least the select board is putting things together. They're making a lot. They're really lost as well, but not as badly as the FinCom. They at least have everything, and they're at least putting numbers on a spreadsheet. FinCom's not doing that. They're waiting for the select board to give them numbers that they're just going to complain about rather than doing their own analysis, which they should be doing. But the select board, they get lost on the analysis part. They can fill out spreadsheets and stuff, and they're not there, and they just get focused on this. Oh, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. No, 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 no. You need to look at the levy. How much, what do you have from the levy? And look at that number and then say, okay, what's our trends? What costs do we have? What expenses are exceeding our ability to fund without an override? And they just hide and make stuff up and say, well, if you don't give us an override, we're going to stop this. Or they don't know how to ask for general override. I'm asking for a general override, and I'm backing it up with information. The ballot question for general override, putting the exact things that I'm saying we need an override for, should not be on the ballot, because these are all, because there's a long list. These are expenses that are going up, because when you put something on the ballot to say, are you willing, if you say no, we're going to be, if I'm saying we need 190,000 to fund health insurance for the employees, and I'm going to put that on an override question. So if you don't pass it, that means we're going to cancel. We're not going to provide health insurance for the employees, which we're required to by law. So that means we have to fire multiple employees to fund health insurance. We're going to do away with health insurance. That's not what we want on the ballot question. And we're doing it. We want to do a general override because so many things are so far off. That does not mean the select board even have any wiggle room to create new. We're going to spend more money. We're going to buy new toys. If they're talking like that, we need to throw them out of office. Not if Veronica runs for re-election, don't vote for her. Don't do it, because she just wants to buy new shiny things. But her term ends in April. Let her leave. Let somebody else come in who can figure this out. So anyway, I'm going to call it a night. My cats want to eat. I want to eat. I got to look out and see how bad the weather is. Not that I'm going out there. I don't need to know. I'm just curious. I just want to know what the weather is, even though I'm not. It's like, oh, look at that. It's snowing. It's raining. It's sleeting. Oh, gosh, do I have to shovel tomorrow? Whatever. So I have other things to do that I was going to do this afternoon. Never got them done because the select board went. They did their. If they had done those executive sessions at the end, it would have been a much shorter meeting. But once I looked at it, I knew I was screwed. So my whole day has been sitting here talking to my computer and talking to you folks. Yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in. For those that have been sticking through for the whole time, I'm sorry that it was such a tough. But you got to see what doesn't happen. What maybe hopefully you can see what I'm complaining about. And I don't know. All right, so thank you for tuning in, and I'm going to call it an evening, and I will probably do a video tomorrow because I'm so far behind in videos that I promised you even. And yeah, we missed it's too late for that. All right, I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself. Okay, so if I don't see you tomorrow, Merry Christmas and all that stuff, and I hope it's good for everybody, and hope everybody's not outside driving in the bad weather. My understanding is it's icy, slick, and it's going to be back and forth, so it's not very safe. Even though I know hideaway departments everywhere have put pre-treated the roads, but that's still no guarantees that there aren't slick spots, or you'll find the place that they missed. Just stay home if you can. Okay? All right, so trying to get that out of there. All right, so thanks everybody. I will catch everybody tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, please like this video. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing so that you can see more of my stuff. All right, good night, everybody.